I show you how to set up your artwork for send it to a print house. I own a print shop, so I have I know a little bit about this, so I can show you guys. Majority of people sending me the artwork, there's always an issue that I have to fix. So I want to do this so I can share it to my customer and then to you guys, so anybody need it that they can use it to set up your artwork. So let me explain to you a little bit. When you send it to the print house, usually they require a bleed which is an extra space all around. So just when the machine go through to cut the, let's say a business card, the business card size, standard size is 3.5 by 2. So after if you send the artwork exactly 3.5 by 2, and when they run through the machine to cut the business card, the machine might shift left or right, up or down. So when they cut it, if you don't do a bleed, let's say if you have a color background business card and then if you don't do a bleed, the cut line is off. So you might see the white part on each of the sides. I'll explain to you when we get into the detail. But I will show you how to set up the artwork the right way to do in Photoshop, in Illustrator, and InDesign. First of all, we're going to do it in Photoshop. So today we're going to do a business card size. So what you do is you get a new file. And then when you choose the option, I usually choose the print option, because the reason you choose print is because when you send it to the print house, the requirement pixel per inch is about 300. So it's automatic setup for you. And if you do it for web or other mobile or video, it's only 72 per inch. 72 pixel per inch is really small to print, so when you print it out, it might get pixelated. And then the color mode, let me go back to print here. And then the color mode, I usually change to CMYK, because all the print color is CMYK. And then you just change the size. So the size of the business card is, let me do it this way. The size of the business card is 3.5 by 2 inch. So what you do is, usually most print house, they require a 0.125 inch on each of the side, bleed extra to, so basically one left and one right. So 0.125 times 2, that's equal to 0.25 inch on the side and then on the top. So 3.5 inch, that's the width, plus 0.25 bleed is equal to 3.75. So that's what you put in the width, 3.75. And then on the height is 2 inch plus 0.25 is 2.25. And then everything leaves the same. Color 8-bit, make sure it's square pixel. And then you can hit create. And then if you want to save as a preset, you can click here and save a preset. I will do a business card. So save preset. So next time when you want to reuse it again, you'd have to go through all the setup. You just have to go to save and then hit the business card and then open. Okay, so this is the actual artwork of the business card. Let me zoom in more so it's easier. And then what I used to do, the first time I set it up is I unlock this. And then I make a duplicate of this layer, Control J. And then I will resize it to 3.5 by 2. That's the exact size of the business card. And then you align the center. And then I put on a stroke. Do like a blue color stroke. Okay. So this is the actual business card size right here on this blue line. Everything outside here will get cut. So this is the safety area. So I would name this cut line. And then I'll make a duplicate again, Control J, and I will rename this safety line. And then I would transform, minus 0.25 again. So 3.5 minus 0.25 is 3.25. 2 is 1.75, you minus 25. And then you align the center again. Wait, 1.75. Okay, and align the center. and then change the stroke color to red so it's easy for you to recognize. I mean, you can choose any color you want, but this is just the color that I'm used to. So here it is. So this, the red line, everything that you don't want to get cut, anything important like text or any information, you must, it's best way to leave it inside this line. Because if it's go outside, when the machine run through and cut it, it might cut off right on this line. And then your text is right here. So let me give you an example. And the text is right here, so it's might cut off. So they recommend using it, but sometimes you can cheat it. You can go all the way, but I don't recommend go all the way to the edge right here. And then what you do is I usually group this. Oh wait, and another thing is I would change the fill color to 0. And then for this one also. And then I will group this. And then I will name it guy. So there you go. So every time you do your design, you can turn this off. And then if you want to check it, you can turn it on. And then usually I lock it, so you don't move it by accident. So you can turn it off. When you export it out, you can make sure you turn this off too. And then see, now let me explain to you. So let's see if you have a business card in a black color, right? See, if you don't do the bleed, let me transform this. Let's see that you do exact size of the business card, right? So when the machine go through and cut it, and then it ship off to the left or to the right, so when it cut, it's going to be like this. Let me put another layer on the bottom just to show you guys. See when the machine is shipped, I've just moved this as a ship. See, so your business card gonna see a white line right here, and then maybe up here. The machine could ship either way. You don't know. That's the reason why we always put the safety line extended out. And then when you do your wording, your text or anything, let me add a text in here. Okay, so if you don't put the text, we recommend that you put your text inside this red line all around. Let's see if you put it out here and then the machine shift, it could ship like majority, like sometimes it could ship like this, and then your name will get cut off. So that's why most print house require only 0.25 safety area off the edge of the actual size of the card. So that's why I recommend to go all the way in here. So that's how you set it up. And then the theory is the same. So let's say if you do a flyer 8.5 by 11, then what you do is you put at 0.25 on all the edge. So on the width, 8.5 plus 0.25, so it's 8.75. And then on the height is 11 inch, so you plus 0.25, so it's 11.25 inch. That's how you do it. And then now, next thing is I show you how to export your card to PDF. I think everybody should know how to do this, but just some minor setting. So usually you can go to File, Save As, and then you choose instead of Photoshop, you choose Photoshop PDF. And then you can choose where to save it and name it, whatever. I just gonna do it's temporary here. And then the thing is you use here. I have preset that I already set on here already. I usually go print or proof. Proof is when I want to send it out to client just to check. It's a smaller size, it's compression. But usually when you send it to print, like I said, it's to print. But if you don't have this preset, then you can do press quality. It's pretty much the same. And then you can just save it like that and then send it off to the print house. Okay, so that's how you do it in Photoshop. Now like you do in Illustrator. Same thing pretty much. You pull up a new file, go to print. Make sure it's an inch. If you work in pixel, then you can do that. And then 3.5 by 2. In Photoshop and Illustrator, I mean not Photoshop, Illustrator and InDesign, they have a setting for bleed. You see right here? So you don't have to do the math, but what you do is you put 0.125 and make sure this thing is linked. So it will put a bleed all 1.25 all around. So 1.25 left and 1.25 right is equal to 0.25. So when you click create, see, it will create the bleed line for you ready, and then all you have to do is add in a safety line, which is I usually type in 3.25, 1.75, and then just align the center, and then turn off the fill, change the stroke, and then I can lock it, and then you can turn it on and off. So there you go. That's pretty much easy. And then InDesign is the easiest. That's why I like to use InDesign to do my layout. Same thing, new document, print. I already have it saved in here, so but I'm gonna go over it again. You put 3.5. In InDesign and Illustrator, you put exactly the size, but InDesign has an extra step that it will have the margin, which is the safety area, 0.125. And then they have an option for bleed, so 0.125 all around. See, InDesign is the best because it gives you the margin and the bleed, so you don't have to go through and set up the safety line and the cut line. So when you hit create, I will show you here. See? So this is the safety line. So everything important, you put it inside here, and the red line is it's the cut line, and then the white X box this is the actual card. You can preview it by pressing W, and this is how the actual card gonna look. So when you do the design, let's say you put a background, you can change it to any color. Let's say you do a blue background. See, you can see. And then let me see, give you an example. Let me type something in. Wait, okay, let me put another layer. Lock this T. Your name. So InDesign is the easiest way that I can show you the theory of how you put it. So let's see, when you put your name, if you put it up to here, this is where the cut line is. So when you preview it, see, the Y gonna get cut off. It's just for the cut line for the business card, but on the safety line, there's no option for you to see the safety line. But then it's best to leave it like right here. But let's say example, you put it right here and sometimes the machine shift, you might get cut off too. So that's why I recommend to be in here. And then same thing with the Illustrator and PDF, you just export it to PDF. But when in InDesign, when you export it, let's say you do a PDF, right? It gives you a different option right here. I usually do a PDF print, hit save. If you don't have all this preset, you can do press quality. But what I usually check is mark and bleed. You have to check this area, this right here. Use document bleed setting. Okay, so it automatically, when you export out, we'll export out with the bleed. And then I can show you how you export out with the bleed, and you will show it. Let me put it on the desktop. Okay, now this is the PDF. So when you open it, wait, sorry. So let me export a test one for you to show you how you see the desktop. Put a test right here. Okay. My preset, usually I do the print. As you can see right here, it will go mark and bleed. I will add in the crop mark. Use document bleed setting. Because I always do 0.25 on all the print, so I don't need to use this. And then I can check it, or because it's already preset in here, you can preset. So every time I export, it would export the bleed. Or you can check this. So when you set up your file, you have to set up the bleed on here too. And then make sure you have the crop mark, and then you export. So now when you open up the PDF, okay, let me show you right here. See, this is how when you export a PDF, the guideline it's not there. You don't see the guideline, but then you see the crop mark. This is what the print house want to see. They want to see this. So this is where actually the machine gonna run through and cut it right here. Cut it right here. So if you set up everything right, this thing when you actually after they print and cut it, you won't see these lines. All you will see is just the inside area right here. But this is every print house would like to see this. It's easier for them to set up, and then it's easier for them to run it. So when you export out to the right setting, it's get your print out quicker and better. So yeah, that's how you do it. And then I will link in the description all the preset that I have. Let's see all the PDF preset, the print PDF presets. So you can download it and then install it into your program. Also, let me show you how to set up the PDF preset. I found it the easiest is to set it up in Illustrator. So what you do is you go to File. I mean, not Illustrator, InDesign. You go to File. And then you go down to Export, Adobe PDF Export Preset. You hit Define. And then you hit New. And then you can name it. So let's see, I'm going to print 2. And then all this just leave the same. The compression, leave it the same. Just make sure you change this to mark and bleed. Or make sure you check the compression. It's 300 plus 450 right here. Make sure if it's less than that, change it to 300 and then 450. And then marks and bleed. Make sure you check crop mark. So this will add in the little black line that I showed you earlier. And then make sure you check this and use bleed document setting. If you don't want to check this, then you have to manually input it every time. Let's say if you work with different print house, maybe they require different bleed, then you can change it in here. But I think the best way to do is just check this, because when you set up your file, you set up the right bleed for that print house. And then, so after all the setting, output, all this, you don't touch anything the same, leave it the same. And then you hit OK. See, now it will show here, this is the preset that you have, and then you click done. So either after you save it once, and even you do it in Design, now you go to Photoshop, you can export, save as a PDF. It will show up on here too. So let's say you save as Photoshop PDF. Let's see. I can't type. And then you can choose here. Now you see the print 2 is right here. So you only have to do it once in either InDesign, Illustrator, or Photoshop, and it will show up on here. And then all you have to do is just choose that and then hit save, and all the setting will be saved on there. Same thing with Illustrator. You can save as desktop. You change this to PDF, and now it will show up on here. See? So what I usually do is I go through and set up all the presets for different print house that I work with, or just the setup for that I need. And then, you know, you can just export it out. Let's see, I set up the proof one. So let's say I've done the design, I want to send the proof to the client, then I just use the proof preset and then export it to them. The proof preset is basically just no crop mark, no bleed. It's just the actual how it's going to look like. And it's compressed down, so it's easy for you to email or send a text or send it to and then they can't use that file. Let's see if they didn't pay you for the design, they can't use that file to print because it's a low compression artwork. If they print it, it's not going to be good quality. I don't like to put watermarks on my design because it just ruins the design. So that's why I do this. And when I send them the proof, so they can't use it to print. I mean, they can use it to post on social media, but if they want to do that, then you know that's them. You know, those are the clients that I don't want to work with. And then another important thing that if let's say some print house don't need to be PDF, you can export it in InDesign. You can export it as a JPEG. When you export it as a JPEG, you can actually choose the option right here. Same thing. This is the quality of the print. Maximum baseline resolution 300, or make sure you change this to CMYK. And then make sure you check this, use document bleed setting. For JPEG, I don't show up the line, but it will actually export with the bleed. So when you send it to the print house, it's extra space so they can cut it. So let me show you. And then when you export as JPEG, see, it doesn't show anything on here, but then there is a bleed, extra bleed on here. This is not 3.5 by 2. This is 3.75 by 2.25. So there you go. You can send that. And then even in Illustrator too, you can do that same thing. So yeah, that's just a little short video I want to make to you guys. Thank you.